Hello, darlings, and welcome back to another episode of Thriller Video Thursday. We are on episode 16 this week, and for those of you that are new here, every week I review one of my Thriller Video Elvira VHS tapes. I bought a big haul of them 16 weeks ago now, so it's crazy to think that we've been doing this for 4 months or so. I believe there's 8 or 9 more to do after this week. But before we get into that, please remember to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you're interested in more horror content or Elvira content, stay tuned because I have a lot more on the way. I even have another Elvira series planned after this one, so stay tuned for that. But let's get into it. So, this week on Thriller Video Thursday, we are going to be talking about the Cyclops. Now, the Cyclops was released in July of 1957, and it was directed by Burt I. Gordon, who is best known for making giant monster movies. For those of you that don't know, the 50s in horror, it was known as the atomic age because everyone was so afraid of like nuclear bombs and like radiation affecting and like mutating people or creatures. So people were making tons of giant monster movies. Burt I. Gordon is known for The Food of the Gods, The Spider, Empire of the Ants, and this one is actually starring Lon Chaney Jr., who is best known as the Wolfman. I'm sure most of you have seen the Wolfman or at least know what the Wolfman is. It's a classic Universal horror movie. But starting out, we always start these with an Elvira monologue, kind of cracking some jokes and telling us a little bit about the movie. And this one I absolutely loved. She's like, "I'll show you a good time and a good bust," and then it like cuts to a scene from the movie, and the guy's like, "I don't know why they're so big, but I intend to find out." And it's just really funny. I love these monologues so much. This is a black and white movie, and it is a feature-length film, at least by like the Universal film standards. I think it was like 70 minutes long or something. And this was the first time I actually watched a black and white film on my new Sony Trinitron that you can kind of see a little bit behind me. And it looks so good. I was so surprised at how good a black and white film looked on that. So the plot of this one is about a girl that goes, or a pilot that goes missing, and he is the boyfriend or husband of the main girl, and her and a search party go looking for him in the jungles in Mexico. However, while searching the jungles, they find a radioactive monster or a Cyclops. Now, Lon Chaney Jr. is such an icon and an experienced actor at this point. This came out 16 years after The Wolfman, and it's really interesting to see how much his acting has matured in that amount of time. The plane crash with the crew was really well done for a 50s movie when they crash land on this island. There's like all kinds of giant monsters throughout this one. There's a giant monitor lizard. There's a giant rat and hawk fight scene, which they definitely showed a hawk feeding on the rat. And like, I just love these forced perspective shots of like the giants and like when the humans are right next to them. They're so well done. And they were done in such an interesting way in the 50s when they did movies like this. And there's an amazing giant spider effect right next to them too. I just love this stuff. There's a giant iguana that they fight with like a spear, and it's just really well done. After that, there's an intermission with Elvira, and it is by far my favorite so far. She's like playing with action figures and a giant iguana, and then she's like, "Oh, sorry, didn't see you there. I was playing with myself," and it's really funny. This one, unfortunately, is not on YouTube. I was gonna try and show some clips from it. I did find a couple clips that I'll show you guys when we get to it. The POV shot from the Cyclops is glorious. It's like shows like he's like looking out of like one eye, and you can see kind of like the retina and stuff. It's really well done. Something that's really interesting is the Cyclops home is actually a very famous cave in California called Bronson Cave, and it's been in hundreds of horror movies. It is best known as one of the exits, I believe, of the Batcave in the Adam West Batman series. So I thought that was really cool. And if you guys just look up Bronson Cave, it's been in a ton of movie, like hundreds, maybe even thousands of movies and television shows. It's so iconic. Um, I'll show you guys what the Cyclops looks like at the end. He's actually, the artwork on this tape shows a Cyclops, and they don't even put the eye in like the center of its head. It's literally like just like on the right side, and they've got like this like melted cheese effect over his eye. Um, there's perspective shots of him touching the people with his fingers, which I really enjoy. And there's a hilarious shot where he grabs the damsel in distress and they just move the whole camera. Like, it was so glorious. I just could not get over that. Like, it's like they just moved the entire frame. He like grabbed the whole frame. It was so hilarious. And the Cyclops just makes the stupidest noises. Like, he almost sounds like Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. Like, he's like, it's really funny. But honestly, overall, this one was my favorite of these thriller video movies that I've watched so far. I am such a sucker for classic horror and black and white horror. It just really hits home for me, and I can really appreciate film like that. I'm a real massive fan of the old Universal monsters. I am doing a Universal Monsters sleeve right now, currently working on it. I've hopefully only got like a session or two left on that, but I absolutely love the Cyclops. It takes the #1 spot out of the 16 thriller video movies that we've reviewed so far. But let me show you what the tape itself looks like. And this is the Cyclops monster. If you didn't see him in the clip that I showed, I can't remember if it showed him or not, but this is actually what he looks like. This artwork is amazing. It's so well done, and it's not misleading at all like a lot of these are. It actually has to do with the film, which I love. So you've got starring Lon Chaney Jr. right here. You got Elvira on the front, on the side. On the back, it's her with like this like mass of guts and blood. I love that. It's so awesome. Let me read you a little bit about this on the back. So it's starring Lon Chaney Jr. and Gloria Talbot. It says, "The Cyclops is loose, and let me tell you, he's only got eye for you. You see, this search party looks for a long-lost pilot in a remote part of Mexico. Well, when they get there, they find these gigantic animals that a dieting Liz Taylor might be tempted to microwave. Then they get a peek at Old Blue Eye, a 50-foot Cyclops who runs around in his BVDs. Not a pretty picture, I might add. Anyways, if you've ever wanted to know the answer to the musical question, Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get that peeper? Then keep an eye out for this one, Unpleasant Dreams." So that is awesome. I loved this one. Like I said, it was my favorite one so far. I'm going to be attending a horror convention in Kansas City, Missouri next weekend. It's called Crypticon. If any of you guys are going to be there, let me know in the comments. I would love to meet anyone. I'm always looking to meet new horror friends and connect with people. I'm going to try and get an episode out on the day that I leave if I can. Next week, we are going to be talking about a film called The Picture of Dorian Gray. And it is actually a feature-length film. And I've noticed so far that I have way preferred the feature-length films of these compared to the Hammer's House of Horror series. But that is all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for hanging out. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and until next time, unpleasant dreams.